Hey guys, how you doing? It's Art from Art's Model Trains. So I've had a run of bad luck lately. I am 0 for 2 on engine purchases over the last, I guess, about 2.5, maybe 3 months. Um, so I picked up, going back, I guess that's about 2.5, 3 months ago, I picked up a Lion Master Big Boy from trains.com, and it came here and it was amazing, looked fantastic. Started the whole unboxing video and everything, got it up on the track, loaded it up with smoke fluid, made sounds, blew lots of smoke, made lots of noise, and actually didn't run at all. And I sent it back to Trains and they were unable to repair it. Unfortunately, the pieces and everything are no longer made for that engine. So I returned that engine and I went ahead and bought another Lion Master. They had a Lion Master Hudson also on trains.com for a really good price. So I figured, why not? As a consolation prize, I'll pick that up. Got that home, got that on the tracks, unboxed it, did all the video, all that kind of fun stuff, and it ran, but it was really jerky. Like the Odyssey speed control wasn't working really well, and the sounds were all messed up. So this one worked, but the sounds were all messed up. It repeated the same garbled message no matter how many times you hit the button. So I returned that one to trains.com. And what I've decided to do is actually budget myself a little bit here. So I went ahead and took the money that I would have spent on those two engines and put it in a bank account, figured I'm earning lots of interest right now with the way rates are, and then take it to York this fall in October. It'll be my first trip to York. I figure this way maybe I can find a Lion Master Big Boy there to purchase with that money plus interest. Hopefully we'll be able to afford a few other things. So I've decided to turn my focus from getting a new engine to doing something different. And I went ahead and made a purchase 2 weeks ago on something that caught my eye on eBay, and it was something different. And let me grab it here. It's right on the floor. So this is an MTH engine shed, and I don't remember the model off the top of my head. I have the box here somewhere, but I believe it's like a 9030 is the number of it. This is the older version that does not work with Fast Track, which is what I run. But the reason why this shed caught my eye is it was weathered pretty cool weathering job by the previous owner. And they had a really good price on it. So I made an offer and got it. And I figured I'll, mess around with it. And what I was able to figure out from help from the forums was to use a Lionel Fast Track transition piece to tube track, which I have plenty of tube track, and that works perfect inside this shed. So with the purchase of a new shed, there's got to be a place on my layout for me to put it. And that seems to be a problem. My layout is pretty full. I've expanded as far this way in the basement as I can go. There's a closet over there, so I can't go any further into the corner. I want to try to keep that closet so I could store stuff in there. Behind the camera over here is one of my son's HO layouts, so I'm not able to go that way yet. I do have plans to maybe someday go that way and stay above his layout like I have over my other son's layout. So I decided to go the other direction. And it's a plan I had in mind when I put 048 curves on this side of the table. I actually was thinking ahead, and instead of using all curves, I did put a switch track with a small siding that I could store like one little boxcar on previously. So I'll take you guys down there and give you a look at what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to put together. Okay, so I'm going to start over here. This is where I had previously installed an 048 switch when I went to 048 curves for my 036, and I just had a small siding here with a boxcar on it. And what I've done, and I started working on this over the weekend, was bring the table out about another 60 inches over all of my train storage and command center over here. And I am going to put a couple of 060 switches in here, the two tube tracks that will go inside the shed, and then one Fast Track siding that will go outside. And my plan then is to trim up this wood and kind of bring it together a little bit to blend it in with the original table. So it should give me enough room to have some on the table storage for engines and maybe even a few cars, and really kind of free up some of my shelves a little bit. I'm starting to get a little cluttered. Plus, it makes a big difference for me. I feel like it'll be more convenient to run engines if they're already on the table and I just have to hit a switch track and bring them on, switch out some cars, and get them running. Walking back and forth over to my shelves, and I can take you guys down there, that I have on the wall, and squeezing into the corner to grab engines off the wall here is sometimes time consuming and not something that I do all the time. So it's probably weeks between cycling engines. So this will give me an opportunity to do that more frequently. And just so you guys can see, this is what the engine shed will look like once I get it in place. Obviously not permanently mounted. And what I did here was I took two layers of cork. Sorry, I didn't have the camera pointed right there. 2 layers of cork underneath the tube track, which should put it at the right height. I've measured it with a few different engines going in and out of the shed. And then I'm going to just put the 2 transition tracks right here. Obviously in the space, I need to play around with the track spacing and all that stuff once I get all the pieces in place. But that's what my plan is. And then I will mount some switches somewhere where I'll be able to turn the whisper tracks on and off, all 3 individually. And then, that way I can even store some conventional stuff over here. I'm still toying around with how I'm going to power these whisper tracks, whether I'll tie them into one of my handles on my ZWL, or use a CW80 that I have just lying spare. So I might just grab that and use that instead. But yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at. That's a little project I've got going on, a little expansion. I have also added or purchased to add more backdrop from Backdrop Junkies. So I'll extend that around the corner as best I can there. So that'll continue. And I am going to, I have track lighting, a little bit of track lighting above. They actually hue color bulbs that, are used in the app, and obviously voice control and all that. And I'm going to try to continue the track lighting down over the yard, or at least get a light down here pointed at the yard so that's lit up as well. And my goal here was not to take up too much of the basement. So my shelves are always here. So I'm trying to build the yard on top of the shelves so that I don't take up more of a footprint from the basement, but I add a little bit of storage to the table, a little bit of space to the table. So I think this is going to look great. And my son and I are already trying to figure out how to put like a little hobo scene right in here. We're going to bring over a old caboose I have that I've been playing around putting some lights in. I did purchase like a little fire kit of LEDs from Evans Designs. So I'll try to build a little flickering fire in there. And we'll play around with that once we get the table all set up and we start to put some scenery in. So that's it, guys. That's kind of what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks. Like I said, a little bit of a bad luck with the engines, but I've decided to use that to kind of rethink my train budget a little bit, like I said. And then I came up with this idea, a little bit more low budget, a couple of pieces of track and some wood wasn't too expensive. The biggest expense, obviously, was the shed itself. But thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And hopefully, once I build up my budget and I'm able to be at York for the first time later this year, I'll get to meet some of you guys and hang out for a while. Thanks.